Now we are going to give my Final Four prediction. Who is going to win it all, should I say? Who is going to come out with the trophy? And this is going to be the perfect bracket. Period. I thought that my bracket, I thought it was going to be the perfect bracket. It felt so good. I got some teams, I got the Elite Eight teams, some of them right. But I felt as though I had the perfect bracket. Let's go ahead and show you what my bracket was. Coven for the win. I had it. It was looking good. It was looking good. I had the 2 and 3. I had Oregon State. I had this right. This was just wrong. I almost had it. Then obviously Stanford losing. That messed me up. That messed me up big time. USC, they losing big time. But now we're going to start all over and create the perfect Final Four champion in the perfect bracket. So we have South Carolina versus NC State. Like I said, if NC State can shoot, because they shot 50% from the field against Texas on threes and they shot 45 for the game, if they're able to shoot the lights out against South Carolina can easily lose to NC State. Isaiah James is going to get hers. She's going to get hers. She's been on a tear. But if they could shut her down, oh, it will be a long day for NC State. It'll be a long day for NC State. But if she's on and the rest of the team is on, it's going to be a very close game versus South Carolina. They're going to give South Carolina a run for their money, especially if they're all on. But personally, I got South Carolina making it to the championship game. I had Stanford. Stanford played soft against them coming towards the end of the game. And yes, I get that NC State is hot. I get it. I get that the boys and girls are hot. But I personally feel as though South Carolina is going to come out with the W. But I wouldn't be surprised if NC State makes it close. And it's close throughout the whole game. Maybe South Carolina goes on a run, but NC State comes roaring back with Isaiah James. But I feel as though Camila Cardoso, Tessa Johnson is going to propel them to victory. Both of those girls. So now we have Iowa and UConn. Now, that is hard because I'm going to tell you why. Gino has that championship pedigree. Gino has been in the situation before. Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one to see. That's probably going to be the late game. It's going to be great. I wonder what UConn's game plan is going to be to defeat Iowa. I wonder what it is. Are they going to let Caitlin Clark get 30 points, but she's not going to get no assists and nobody else is going to go off? Or are they going to shut down Caitlin Clark completely? Either way it goes, if they're able to shut down the teammates, I personally don't believe that Caitlin Clark is going to be enough to beat the UConn team. It's not going to be enough unless Paige Beckers has a bad game. Unless Paige Beckers has a bad game, then yeah. But personally, that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a very tough game. But I just feel as though I got UConn beating Iowa to advance. I have them beating Iowa to advance. It's going to be very close. I'm telling you right now, Caitlin Clark is going to drop 40 points. Caitlin Clark is going to drop 40 points. 35 to 40. That's where it's going to be. But one thing I will say, she's not getting more than 10 assists. I don't think she's going to get more than 10 assists. I feel as though Gino, what he needs to do is shut down the other teammates and just let Caitlin Clark go. Because Caitlin Clark's going to go. She runs that whole team. She runs the entirety of that game. Unless maybe you could just double. Because one thing about Iowa's team, Iowa has streaky players on their team. Other than Caitlin Clark, everybody on the team is streaky. Right now they're hot. Right now they're scoring. Kate Martin, Althofer, like, they're doing good right now. But in the regular season, they were very up and down. They were very streaky. So maybe you can double Caitlin Clark and force Caitlin Clark to be a passer. But other than that, I just don't feel as though they're going to do that. I feel as though what they are going to do is pretty much let Caitlin Clark do her and let the other girls get shut down. But I feel as though Paige Beckers is going to have a good game. Same with Aaliyah Edwards. Going to have good games. But I personally have UConn making it to the championship game. So, South Carolina versus UConn. That is going to be a very, very good game. That's a brutal matchup. Because the Camila Cardoso is I just feel like she's going to dominate. The only way, if she gets in foul trouble, then it's going to be a little bit hard to beat this UConn team. But if Camila Cardoso can stay in the game, I feel as though South Carolina is going to beat UConn. And me personally, I feel as though she's going to stay in the game, and I feel as though the role players are going to do their thing. So, Fool Wally ain't even have a good game against Oregon State, but I'm waiting for her to have a good game in whether that's the Final Four game against NC State or it's in the championship game. She is going to come and step up. So, personally, I have South Carolina going undefeated and winning the national championship game. Let me know what y'all think. For the Final Four bracket, the Final Four team, should I say, UConn, Alabama, NC State, and Purdue. I personally feel as though this bracket, this March Madness was over before it started. I didn't want to have a back-to-back team make it to the Final Four and win it all. But I'm not even going to lie to you. There's nobody out there that can beat UConn. Nobody out there that can beat this UConn team. Maybe Purdue, but personally, I feel as though they're not going to get no help from anybody other than Zach Edey. Zach Edey is going to get his. Purdue may make it close, but Tristan Newton, Stephon Castle, Caravan, the depth that UConn just has on that team alongside with Klingon is just better overall than any other team in the Final Four. Alabama, yeah, they did good. Round of applause. I feel happy for my team. I feel happy that Bama Ball made it to the Final Four. But they get a brutal draw against UConn, and UConn has never lost, and UConn has always beat these teams by double figures. Last tournament and this tournament, Alabama has to play UConn, and they finna get their ass smacked by 20. 15 minimum. Especially if they ain't hitting threes. That's the only way that Alabama can keep up with this team. But you've seen it time and time again. The teams that they have lost to, they are not able to hit the three ball. And that is literally Alabama basketball. They run down the court, fast-paced offense, shoot threes. If they're off, if Sears is off, game over. Game over. So they got to be able to hit their threes in order to keep the game close. But overall, UConn is going to go on a big run. If Alabama can make threes, they may be able to keep up with them, but I just don't feel as though they're going to keep up with them. I'm going to just be honest. They're not. So I have UConn beating them boys by 15 minimum. Now, NC State versus Purdue. NC State is hot right now. I love NC State. I want DJ Burns to make it to the championship. I want DJ Horn to make it. I want them to. But man, who's going to guard Zach Edey on that side? It's like UConn has the depth to beat and blitz Alabama. On that side of the bracket with Purdue and NC State, nobody can guard Zach Edey. And especially Zach Edey gets guys in foul trouble. So if DJ Burns gets into foul trouble, oh, this game is over. This game is over. So it's like it's a bad draw for Alabama and NC State. So personally, I have Purdue making it to the championship game. Now, UConn versus Purdue. It's going to be a good game. Zach Edey's going to get his. If Zach Edey can do what he did against Tennessee, I'm not even going to lie to you. Purdue can mess around and win. Purdue can mess around and win against UConn. But I feel as though Tristan Newton having 5 points is not going to happen again. Stephon Castle not getting the double figures, that's not going to happen again. Klingon is still going to get his. So with that in mind, I personally feel as though they are going to win. UConn is going to take it home. They're probably going to win by like 8. That's going to be the only game where it's just close throughout the whole entire game and they're not going to dominate Purdue. So let me know what y'all think.